You probably haven't thought about it that much, but when you go to the cinema, the image is projected in a horizontal frame. But now there's a movement afoot offering us vertical cinema, in which all the action takes place on a narrower vertical pane. Under the aegis of an Amsterdam-based organisation, a group of vertical cinema pioneers have been travelling to different cities promoting a new way of watching moving images. Vertically.
Vertical cinema is 35mm film projected vertically. So what you usually see horizontally, a cinemascope, like you know from a Western film, is projected on a vertical axis.
13 filmmakers, musicians and artists were invited to create different vertical works for this presentation. It's an array of abstract, non-narrative films which all explore the potential of a vertical screen.
We want to kind of challenge audiences to look differently and to experience cinema in a different way, in a different surrounding, with different content. And of course, vertical cinema is only one way of doing it. There are many, many others, and I'm sure this won't be our last project.
Essential to vertical cinema is the technology used to project the image. Basically, the result is achieved by turning a traditional film projector on its side, but it's a bit more complicated than that.
Basic principles are simple, but then you have to align the light, you have the right lenses, you need to align the projector. Over here we're on the balcony to make sure that the projector is in the exact axis, horizontal axis of the center of the screen, to make sure that there's no picture aberration, and it will show in the end, because many films are geometrically perfectly aligned, and I think that's the trick for us to make it look like perfect.
Choice of venue is also key to making the vertical cinema experience effective. Vertical architecture is favoured.
We've been mainly working in churches, so it's mainly taking into account the architecture, and that a lot of the architecture that surrounds us is vertical, and that we were always unsatisfied with then having to put in a horizontal screen. Whereas you want to work and play with the architecture to actually use it to its fullest potential.
Audiences appear transfixed by the experience. It's not just the vertical image, it's also the powerful sound system and space.
It looks very monumental, and these films we show, they contain either a lot of sound or are completely silent. They look different. They're more like abstract films, pieces of art, and they're kind of overwhelming, immersive pieces.
It very much stems from the tradition of expanded cinema, which kind of breaks out of the traditional cinema space and really looks into other spaces and other architectures that can be used as cinematic spaces, but also looks at the limits maybe to how we can experience audiovisual projects. So it's not a one-off, it's not something that we just came up with. I think from the 1920s onwards you see a lot of expanded cinema experiments.
Audiences are becoming more accustomed to vertical framing through mobile phones, but vertical screens probably won't catch on commercially at your local multiplex. For these pioneers, that's not the goal. For them, vertical cinema is to make people appreciate the moving image in a very different way, and they seem to be achieving it.